I want to tell you about a woman who comes from a realm that should not exist. She has lived a relatively quiet life in a village where the sun never sets, and where magic, or darkcraft as they call it, has been absent for centuries. She soon finds out that everything she knows about her life, her parents, where she came from, who she is only one version of a very complex and dangerous story. Her name is Snö Hathor, and she is the main character of my black fantasy novel, Death's Daughter. Snow is just about to turn 30 years old when our story begins. Her parents died when she was far too young to remember them, and in their place, she and her sister Inai have been raised by their grandmother, a woman who tends an orchard just outside of their village called Solemn, selling apples at the market to keep their family afloat. Since Snow is the older sister, she is also the one who eases the burden of her aging grandmother and tries to pave the way for an easier life for her younger sister. Snow is also a healer's apprentice, studying under her grandmother, who runs an underground clinic out of their attic, serving those in need. I say underground because healing by women, the kind her grandmother's lineage has done for generations, has been banned right alongside Darkcraft for the last 2 centuries. Snow has a sharp tongue and uses it freely. She takes lovers on her own terms. She talks back. By society standards, she is not a proper woman in the slightest. But let's make something clear. Snow is not defiant because she has everything figured out and knows exactly who she is. She's defiant because she refuses to be caged into a version of herself when she's still figuring out who she is and who she wants to be. More than anything, Snow wants the right to choose. And she isn't sure if the life she's inherited as an orchidist, an illegal healer, etc., is the path she would have taken if she had the choice. Now let's zoom out to the realm of Terra for a little bit, where her small village of Solemn resides, bound on one side by the coast and wrapping mountains on the other. All of Terra is governed by the Consortium, an organization of hooded men that have been around for as long as most people can currently remember. And the Consortium has decided that there is only one way, one path, and that is the way of the light. And of course, who better to rule over a lost people than those chosen by the light themselves? Here's the thing, however. No one knows where the men of the Consortium come from, or what they even look like. Their hooded robes hide every aspect of their features, except for their hands, which are gold and serve as a mark of the light's chosen ones. All the people of Solemn know for certain, and in Terra for that matter, is that to go against the Consortium, and worse, to question them, means to spell out your own demise. The Consortium is law and justice, spiritual leader and enforcer, the keepers, so to speak, of the golden age of light that has been reigning over Terra for the last few centuries. Now let's put that together. A woman who was bold, daring, and sometimes curious to a fault, living in a society heavily influenced by puritanical order and demands submission from its subjects, creates a tension that is like two freight trains about to collide. Now, let's get back to Snow. For the last month before our story begins, Snow has been dreaming. The same dream almost every night. She finds herself deep in a dark forest, drawn towards figures in amethyst cloaks, performing a ritual around a stone altar. She feels pulled towards them, towards their chanting, towards the power radiating from their circle, in a way that terrifies her deeply. Because now remember, she lives in Terra, the realm of the light, a place that has rebuked all things associated with darkness, even its own skies. The sun never sets in Terra. Darkness is not just feared here, it's blasphemous. Yet every night, Snow dreams of dark things. And every morning she wakes up, asking herself the same question: what is wrong with me? Soon enough, however, she will learn that nothing is wrong with her. Something is waking up. I'll tell you one more thing about Snow before I read a little excerpt to you. There is a man, or so she believes, and it's not the man she grew up with who wants to marry her. The one who, if she said yes to, would mean trading in one set of inherited expectations over another. No, this is a different man. He appears to her when she is exhausted, barely conscious, when her rational mind has loosened just enough for something other to slip through. He is made of inky, writhing darkness, and it is this man, this impossible, dangerous man, who will eventually lure her to a dark forest and awaken what she actually is. I'll leave it there. So now I want to read you something. This is from the opening of Death's Daughter. It begins with a document, a decree from the consortium, and then moves directly into Snow's recurring dream. This is the first time that anyone outside of my husband has heard me read these words aloud. So, I hope you enjoy hearing it as much as I enjoyed writing it. The Darkcraft Act, January 3rd, 1 AL. To the royal subjects of Solemn, as decreed by His Majesty King Atticus Irenian III, the engagement of darkcraft is hereby considered a felony against the crown. It is expressly forbidden to conjure spirits, possess enchantments, enact sorcery, perform unholy rituals or sacrifices, or engage in darkcraft of any kind. Punishment for this crime is death. I was in the woods again. Similar to the times before, I found myself deep within the belly of a mammoth tree. I sat in its cavernous trunk, wrapped in a thick darkness. Then a shocking lavender light flared, highlighting the opening of the tree. I crawled towards that light on hands and knees, but halted at the sound of voices. Across the meadow, several dark figures stood, hands clasped in a circle. Their chants were low at first, but steadily grew louder, rising to a crescendo that stirred something deep inside me, beckoning my spirit hither. Though I did not understand the words, they wove themselves into my blood and sang to my soul. I felt an irresistible pull to leave the mammoth tree and join them, to add my voice to their chant and surrender myself to the power of their spell. And yet, self-preservation urged me to stay hidden within the tree, to wait. So I did, watching with bated breaths as the figures continued their ritual. They wore draping cloaks the color of amethyst, heavy and concealing of their features. Their hands were joined around a raised stone altar, and upon that altar lay two small, motionless bodies. Children. Then, as if on cue, two of the figures stepped forward, and my heart stopped as they withdrew glowing blades, almost blinding in their intensity. "No," I whispered. "No," I repeated, louder this time, but the two figures advanced upon the altar anyway. All the while, the circle's chants continued, growing to a frantic pitch, and the figures took it as their signal to strike. In unison, they swung their blades down, the sound of ripping flesh tearing through the meadow. And at the gut-wrenching sound of bodies being ripped open, the dream, the trance, broke, and I began to scream. So, there you have it. That is Snow. I wrote Snow because I dreamed of her. I dreamed of a Black woman at the center of a fantasy world who faces impossible things, impossible choices, an impossible origin, an impossible power, things that were messy and dangerous and complicated, that would force her to learn and grow and find herself along the way. Snow has a dutiful heart because Inai needs her, her grandmother needs her, people who come to their door in the middle of the night need her. I wanted to show through her character that there could still be more. Underneath the duty and the fear and the weight of everything she carries, there is a woman who wants things for herself, who desires, who dreams, who wants what others say around her is impossible to achieve. I wanted to find out what happens when you stop thinking that something is wrong with you and instead see all the possibilities behind what is right. As you can see, I'm not in my normal home right now, and that's because I'm living in a studio in Paris for the next few weeks, and that is where I'll be talking to you from, as well as where I'll be finishing my draft of Death's Daughter. If you want to read the full excerpt from what I just read to you for this episode, it is available on my website, and the link will be in the description below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. My free reading list is in the description as well. And if you're looking for something else to read, please grab my reading list from the website as well. It is 8 Black science fiction fantasy books with my personal notes on each one. And yeah, that is it for today's episode. I'm Miko Cherie. This is my journey to becoming a fantasy author, and I'm so glad that we're doing it together. I'll see you next week.